Alright, this is the first time we're taking a look at a device from Infinix. This is the Hot 10S. A lot of you guys in the comments have been telling us about the Infinix brand for a while, but we never actually tried it out. So this is our first video trying out Infinix. The Hot 10S is a budget device oriented towards gamers. A quick roundup of the specs: you've got a massive 6.82-inch display with 90 Hz of refresh rate, a pretty huge 6000 mAh battery, the Helio G85 chipset along with 4 gigs of RAM. So on paper, pretty decent specs for a budget device. So let's begin with some good old unboxing. As you can see, the box already is very colorful and vibrant and playful. Inside the box, you've got the phone right away with the main specs, again with a sticker on there. Moving further in, you've got the SIM card ejector tool, a free screen protector, external hard case that's open on the sides, manual warranty, and this weird $1 bill kind of thing. I don't really know what this $1 bill thing is, but I like it. It's cool. I'll keep it. Thank you. You've also got included the charging brick and a micro USB cable. I know, it's 2021. What are we doing with micro USB, guys? Next, let's move on to the build quality and the design on this. The unit that we have is the black colorway with a sort of snake skin diamond design to it at the back, which looks pretty nice. It's a very cheap feeling, to be honest, in the hand, kind of on the bulkier side as well, because we've got that massive battery on the inside and that huge screen as well. At the bottom, you've got a 3.5mm jack, micro USB input, and a downward facing speaker. This is a single firing speaker, by the way. On the right, you've got the power button as well as the volume rockers, and on the left, you've got the SIM card tray with the external memory card slots. Now moving on to the back of the device, that's where you have the camera module as well as the fingerprint scanner. Let's now take a look at the display on this. We've got a 6.82-inch IPS TFT display with 720p in resolution. We get 90 Hz of refresh rate and 180 Hz of touch sampling rate. Touch sampling rate is pretty much how quickly it responds and recognizes your touch on the display. At the given massive size of the display, the resolution of 720p isn't as terrible as I thought it would be. I mean, it would be great to have 1080, but I think for a gaming phone, you'd rather have the 90 Hz of refresh rate, which this does have. With that being said, the viewing angles for an IPS panel aren't as terrible as other budget devices I've tried out, even mid-range devices. The viewing angles from certain angles can get a little bit dim and washed out, but overall it's much better performing than others. The colors are quite vibrant and punchy, and overall the contrast levels as well were pretty good for me. Even in bright light situations, direct sunlight, I didn't have a very hard time looking at the display. In terms of software and UI, this is the first time I've used the Infinix software, which is the XOS 7.6 based on Android 11. The UI looks clean and straightforward to navigate through. A lot of adjustments can be made, but it also does come with a fair bit of bloatware. But the navigation through the different menus, the little touches they have to the physics when you scroll up and down and has this little animation, pretty nice. Not the best skin that I've seen for Android, but it's decent and usable for the price point. As far as security goes, you get a fingerprint scanner located at the back of the device. The location of it, in my opinion, is slightly too high. Even for medium-sized hands like mine, reaching the top of the device can be a bit difficult because this is a larger device. The accuracy of the fingerprint sensor is pretty good, and it's also quite fast in unlocking. Now moving on to performance and gaming. I'm sure a lot of you are here just for that because that's pretty important on a budget device claiming to do a lot. You get the Helio G85 chipset with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. The performance on this for the price point was oddly way better than I expected, even compared to other devices within the same price range. The gaming felt really good with no lag or stutter at all. Settings that I ran in Call of Duty Mobile was medium graphics and high frame rate. This was the max setting that you can do, and that can be pretty good performance. Honestly, I would rather compromise on graphics for games like Call of Duty than frame rate. And the fact that this has a 90 Hz refresh rate panel as well really gave me a very pleasant, smooth gaming experience. That being said, for multitasking and navigation through different menus, with up to 5 applications open, I think it was 5 or 6, I got pretty okay performance. Anything beyond that, you might see a little bit of stutter, but for the most part, using it for like 2 weeks as the daily driver, I didn't have that much issue navigating through different apps. I'd have a few hiccups here and there when I'd use social media applications, but overall, it was a pretty good multitasking experience. Now, I do have to mention the gaming comes with its very own gaming mode called Darlink. not Darling, but like Darlink. I don't know why they call it that, but that's supposed to drop their memory for every other application and dedicate it specifically for gaming, mute notifications, all that kind of stuff. Not very different from playing it traditionally, but it helps keep the phone a little bit cooler, because I would say one of the issues that this phone does have is that it heats up a little bit. So yeah, it does heat up a little bit when you use it for long, intensive hours, whether that's for using the camera for long term or gaming on it for long term. Speaking of the camera, this moves us to the camera testing side of things. It's a triple camera setup, even though it looks like 4 cameras, but it's a triple camera setup. You get a main 48 megapixel camera, a 2 megapixel depth camera, as well as an AI camera. Don't ask me what AI camera really means, because there's no option to switch between the regular and the AI. It's just AI camera all around, but it does shoot 48 megapixel stills if you turn that mode on. Now the images that come out of this are actually really good. You get high dynamic range, pretty good contrast levels, and decent amount of saturation, not oversaturated or undersaturated. There's a lot of AI modes integrated here as well, some for the beauty modes with the portrait, which has decent edge separation. The portrait mode beautification filter, whatever, works a lot better than the regular portrait mode, which is a bit weird, but yeah, you can see the difference there. When you turn on beautification, it has this sort of really clean skin texture thing that it does to your face, and I haven't seen many other smartphones do that. The video we recently did with Adam Lobo TV over on his channel for the Oppo A74 kind of reminds me of this one as well. The skin processing is just really, really good with these newer devices. So yeah, I would say that's one of the stronger features on here. You also get 2 forward-facing flashes, LEDs in the front, and yeah, the performance of it for images is pretty good. Now moving on to the video side of things, this is where it got very confusing. The main website of the device itself says that it does maximum of 1080p, so does GSM Arena, but when I was shooting with the phone, it gave me the option to shoot in 2K, which is what you're watching right now, which is what I've shot these videos with. So I don't know whether that's upscaled to 2K or that's native 2K. It's a bit weird that the website doesn't have that, because even my laptop recognizes this as 2K footage. Lastly, we move on to the battery. Like I said, you get a huge 6000 milliamp hour battery. The charge time on this is quite slow, as you would expect such a big battery to fill up, but even the charge speeds that it supports is on the lower side. But battery performance, it'll give you at least a day and a half, even 2 days of use if you use it moderately. So battery wise, definitely a very good choice if you're looking for better battery budgets. If you're looking for bigger battery phones. That brings us to what I think about this phone and who it's really for. Now the Hot NS is definitely one of the better budget devices that I've ever tried out. I've tried out a lot of Poco devices and Xiaomi devices recently within the budget category, and I would say this performs a little bit better than those. The screen size, the colors of the display, 90Hz panel, huge battery life, and even the camera outperforming some devices that are meant to be more camera focused makes this a really, really good smartphone. So if you're in the market for a gaming phone with a pretty big battery life and you can watch movies and content on, this may be a great option for you. Sure, it may heat up a little bit and may not have the best speakers, but overall for the price range, I do think it's one of the best devices out there. So Infinix, really great job. We're looking forward to try out more devices from you guys. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again in the next video.